Hi guys. So in the previous video, we went through that. Okay. Hello, testing. Okay. Hi guys. So in the previous video, we went through Kevlar 2, what it is and how to use it. So in this video, we'll be covering errors. Kevlar 2 comes pre-installed with a lot of safeguards to ensure that if during testing, your code encounters a runtime error, Kevlar 2 is able to handle it gracefully and exit nicely. So in general, there are three types of errors in Kevlar. So apart from test case pass and test case fail, you have the generic runtime error, so that's one. And then number two, you have this special runtime error called time limit exceeded. And then lastly, there's also this special error called output limit exceeded. So we'll go through each of those in today's video. So for those that need a refresher, in the previous video, we were testing this function called divide. So this is the function, takes in two integers a and b and returns a divided by b. So one edge case that we can consider is a divided by 0, so b equals 0. This will result in a runtime error on most platforms. So let's go ahead and create one such edge case and purposely let the test fail so that we can see how Kevlar 2 handles it. So this is the generic runtime error, what we are going through now. So in our test suite, let's go ahead and create one test case called divide by 0. And then in our input file, we go ahead and specify, okay, we're going to test one A-B pair. A will be 9, B will be 0. And then in the expected output, we shouldn't have anything here because no division should be performed. So yeah, let's go into Kevlar 2 now. The project, and then we try building it again, and then this time we see what it looks like for the divide by 0 test suite. So you can see divide by 0, it failed, and now it is not wrong output, rather they tell you explicitly that you have encountered a runtime error. So this 127 is the exit code. Depending on the platform that you're using, right now I'm using Git Bash, so 127 corresponds to divide by 0. But more, and if you run in Linux, you'll get, I think, one runtime error 137. Oh, sorry, 136. Yeah, so the error code can be especially helpful because you can do a quick Google search to see what the sources of error might be. So in this case, let's check error code 13. Floating point exception. Okay lah, yeah, you get the idea. So right now we've covered the first one, which is generic runtime error. Now what about the second one? The second one is called time limit exceeded. So let's assume that maybe there's a bug in our code, and then we enter an infinite loop so that we can simulate the program taking too long, and then we'll see how Kevlar 2 handles that. So inside here, let me do a while true, and just do nothing. So this right here is an infinite loop. So let's go ahead and run the build script again. If our program takes too long, if the test case takes too long, what does it look like in Kevlar 2? Okay, so you can see we've failed with time limit exceeded, and they tell you that time limit is 5 seconds. So out of the box, Kevlar 2's time limit for each test case is 5 seconds, and you can set this in a file called limits.sh. So let me go ahead and show you how that is done. Inside the root folder, instead of going to projects, you can go to settings, config, and there's a file called limits.sh. So let's open it up and take a look at it. Here, line 18. So you can see max test duration is equal to 5 seconds. So let's change it to 1 second. And now you should see that each test case should take, the time will now be 1 second. So you'll see the results quite quickly. Oh, let me go back to Yeah, so let's run the build script again. Yeah, so now it says 1 second, and you can see that the results are coming back much faster now, 3 seconds across 3 test cases instead of 15 seconds or 5 seconds per test case. So this is how you can set your own time limits and to ensure that if there's a bug in the code, we won't wait forever for that test case to finish. And then we can move on to other test cases. So this is the second time of runtime error called time limit exceeded. So now let's go ahead and take a look at the last test case, which is output limit exceeded. So let's imagine now that instead of an infinite loop, we have an infinite loop together with some print statement. So it prints endlessly to send the output. So while true, we print out the character A, for instance. While true, print C out A. Yep. So now inside the infinite loop, our program keeps printing the character A to send the output. So how does Kevlar 2 handle that? Because the last thing that we want is to wait for 1 minute for the test to keep running, and then when we take a look at our results generated, it's like 100 GB. You know, that's the thing that we're trying to avoid with output limit exceeded. So let's go back into project, and then we build it again. Okay, so now you can see we have an error called output limit exceeded, and they tell you that the limit is 10 KB. Again, this can be set in limits.sh, but before we change the output limit, let's go ahead and take a look at the results file. So all three face the output limit exceeded error. Let's just go to any one of them, and if we take a look at result.txt, it's all A's as we expect. And then let's take a look at the file size, and you can see that the size is 10,001 bytes, so it exceeded the 10,000 bytes limit. So that's why we get the output limit exceeded. So now let's try to change the limits, and then we run it again to show you that yeah. So max output size, instead of 10 KB, we can change it to, let's say, 7 KB. 7 KB. So the limits, as you can see from up top, you have bytes, KB, or MB. Actually, let's just do bytes. 7 bytes. So 7 bytes correspond to 7 characters. So now the output limit should so the output file should have 8 bytes or 8 characters of the letter A. So let's go ahead and run the build script again. Project, and then let's run the build script. Output limit exceeded. The limit is 7 bytes. And then we go and take a look at the output. Let's take a look at the size first. And you can see that, 8 bytes over here. And then we take a look inside. We got 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. 8 of the letter A's. So that's about it for this video. So to recap, we've seen 3 types of errors and how Kevlar 2 handles them. The first type of error is the generic runtime error. We don't really know what caused it. Kevlar 2 will tell you that a runtime error was encountered during the testing, and it will give you the exit code. The second type is time limit exceeded, and then they will tell you, print for you also, what was the time limit that was set in the system internally. And last one is output limit exceeded. So those are the 3 kinds of errors that you'll face in Kevlar 2. And that's it for today's video.